Hello everyone, welcome back to another training video. This video is about mastering feedback. So why feedback? Well, how often have you been offended by someone giving you feedback? Or if you change the question, how often have you feel awkward giving someone honest feedback? Because maybe you didn't want to offend them, or they are nice people, you don't want to make them feel bad. So feedback can be very challenging, but when we shift our mindset and use a few key tools, it can become one of the most powerful drivers for growth. So in this video, you will learn 3 mindset shifts we need for feedback, 1 common mistake to avoid, and 5 tools in order for us to master feedback. So what we expect after this video, we expect to be comfortable asking for feedback and receiving it, comfortable giving feedback, and we'll be improving chances for personal and for our team's growth. So what can we learn about feedback? Let's dive into our mind map. First, we'll learn about our mindset shifts. The first shift is to shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is the belief that we are born with our abilities and they don't change over time. Intelligence, talents, personality, these are fixed and they don't evolve, they don't grow. For example, talent basketball players, they are people who the sport come naturally. It's effortless. They don't need to work too hard in order to be great at basketball. Leaders are someone who are born with charisma, communication skills, and persuasion skills. People who believe in this mindset hate making mistakes because it's a reflection of the limits of their abilities. And because they believe their abilities don't evolve over time, it's part of their identity. So making mistakes, it's an attack on their own identities. What we want is a shift into a growth mindset. The growth mindset is the mindset that all these things can evolve. Yes, talent can get you a head start, but putting the practice, learning, and evolving, and putting in the work can and will make you grow, make you learn these things, and most of the times even grow higher and become better than the person who has a natural talent but never put in the work. So what we want to do with this shifting mindset is create a culture of growth and not a culture of criticism, which is how many people see feedback. They see us being criticized. But no, if we shift into this mindset, we are shifting to a mindset of growth where we will eventually welcome feedback in order for us to grow. The second mindset shift is that if you care for someone, you actually want to see them grow. So in that sense, you want to be able to share your thoughts, share your views on how the person can learn a few more things, where the person can put their efforts in order to learn and grow and evolve. In the same way, you want that person to help you grow as well. So you'll be developing relationships. So feedback is a great structure where relationships can be developed, can be evolved, and can grow together. The third mindset shift is that for feedback to exist, there needs to be psychological safety. And what it means is, do I feel comfortable enough in sharing that feedback with you? An environment of psychological safety means that people feel comfortable in sharing their thoughts and opinions, especially when it comes to feedback. If I am to give feedback to someone, but I fear that there will be negative consequences of my saying so, then I won't be sharing the feedback. So this is why there needs to be an environment where people feel safe. And this is where leaders usually go first. They show the way. They show that it's okay to receive feedback. It's okay to share feedback. So in this situation, leaders go first in order to demonstrate the value and then demonstrate that there is safety. Of course, creating a psychological safety is not a simple thing and requires a lot of intentional action and intentional thought. So those are the 3 mindset shifts. Next, we want to look at the most common mistake that people do in feedback, which is not asking. And this can show up in two different ways. Not asking for feedback and not asking if the receiver wants feedback. In both these cases are really important to ask. If I have created an environment of psychological safety, if I know that feedback is important for my growth, I should be asking for feedback after a presentation, after a meeting, after a facilitation that I conducted. I ask my colleagues, what did I do well? How can I improve? So this is the type of questions you can ask in order to get feedback. And a lot of times, receiving a feedback that is, oh, you did great, doesn't really help me grow. If I created this positive environment of psychological safety, I want to know, oh, Andre, I think there were a couple points, especially on slide 2 and 3, where the ideas you were communicating were not as clear as they could be. And on the other side, if I want to give feedback to someone, I should ask first. If they don't want to receive it, it's not on you to give feedback for them. You should not impose your feedback on anyone, especially if they don't want to hear it. And there might be many reasons why. It might not be the right time, or there might not be enough trust between the two parties in order to feedback to be well received. Which leads us to our next point. I'm going to share some tools that will help us to give and receive feedback. The first tool answers the question, who? So, who are you giving feedback to? It should be someone that you care for. You care for their growth. You care for their development. The same way, if you're receiving feedback, it should be from someone who cares for you, someone who cares about your success, about your development. Why is this important? Because if I'm receiving feedback from someone that I don't know them, I'm going to take that feedback with less weight than if it would be someone who really cared for me. So the same way, if I'm giving feedback to someone, it could be very good intentional feedback, but I don't know them. So they might hear my feedback and not give as much importance. So for the feedback to have really impact, it should be with someone that you have a good relationship with. It could be friendship, it could be professional working relationship. Doesn't matter. What matters is you care about them, you care about their growth. The second question is how. When giving feedback, you should give the feedback directly. Kindly, but directly. You cannot go around and beat around the bush to give that feedback. You should be clear about what exactly improvement could be made. And in the same way, when receiving feedback, you receive it gracefully. Even if you don't agree at first, the most appropriate response to feedback is thank you. Because you might not agree with all the feedback you receive, but you don't want to discourage people from giving feedback and say, oh yeah, that doesn't matter, but thank you anyway. That is the wrong way. You thank them and you take the feedback in consideration, even if you at first don't think it's that relevant. The third question is when? And a good feedback is timely, is right after a presentation, is maximum a few days after an event happened, because if too much time passes between the event and the feedback, maybe the receiver won't remember all the details of the specific feedback you're giving. Oh, remember that word that you used in that presentation? Oh, no, I don't remember using that. So this is why it must be timely. There's one special circumstance for feedback, which is when there's some kind of conflict happening. But you need to let someone know that what they're doing is inappropriate for certain reasons. The best tool for this is to use the feedback tool created by the Nonviolent Communication folks. So, what is this tool? The way to give feedback in this situation is to do it in 4 parts. One, it's called the observation. You describe the specific behavior that you observed without judgment. The second one, you share how that behavior or action made you feel. Third, you're going to talk about the need that was unmet by that certain situation. And the fourth, you make the request. So why is this powerful? It's because you never in this scenario, in this strategy, tell the receiver that they did something wrong. You simply state the fact and how they made you feel. So how you felt is indisputable because this is yours. You're not telling that they did something wrong. You just tell them you did this and made me feel this way, right? So let's go an example. In observation, in yesterday's meeting, I noticed that you interrupted a few of our teammates while they're speaking. When I saw that, I felt concerned because I sensed it might affect team morale. I need everybody in the team to feel respected and heard so they feel comfortable sharing their ideas. Would you be open to giving others more time to share their ideas before responding? By using this strategy, you're not attacking the speaker. You're just saying that the way certain actions and things you did made you feel a certain way, and because you have certain desires, certain needs, in this case for the team morale to stay up, you're requesting for a change in behavior. Of course, they might still be defensive, but in using these words in this format, you're not attacking them in any way. So there's higher chance of a peaceful resolution. An even lighter request is to invite them to work together into finding a solution. So instead of would you mind giving more time to share before responding? Would you mind for us to sit for 5 minutes and discuss how we can work on this together? So these are all options that we can discuss together. And this was all the tools I wanted to share about feedback. In summary, if you apply these three mindset shifts from fixed mindset to a growth mindset, using feedback to help people you care about to grow and develop their skills, and to create a psychological safety environment where people can create this environment for growth, this culture of growth. The common mistake to avoid, which is not ask for feedback and not ask if someone is ready to receive feedback. And the 5 tools that I shared: who to give and receive feedback, someone that you care and they care for you. How, directly and receiving gracefully, when timely, and if there's a conflict, using nonviolent communication format. I hope this training was useful for you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.